Hi, my name is Dr. Waheed Arian. I'm an emergency medicine doctor in the NHS UK. I'm also author of In the Wars book and a global health philanthropist.
I would want to start this conversation by talking about your recollections of your life in Afghanistan and all that you went through before coming to the UK when you were only at the age of 15. So just take us through what it was like to be in war zone at such a young age.
Because I was born into war during the Afghan-Soviet conflict in the mid-80s, I didn't know any other reality except war, hiding in cellars from the daily rockets, the bombs and the shellings. These are the dotted memories that I have. Seeing soldiers outside, tanks and planes in the sky. And during summer, sometimes we would go and visit my father, who was in hiding in a province called Logar, far away. That's something really magical, and it's something that usually happens to children of war. It happens to people in war zones when they continuously go through a process of loss, reunion. After 5 years, when we were isolated, we were under bombs, so we migrated to Pakistan as refugees. But the journey wasn't easy. The normal borders were closed, so we had to take a very dangerous route. The same route was used by the opposition, the Mujahideen, to bring in the weapons to fight the government. And sadly, we did come under the attack 3 times. One time, I remember that as soon as my father felt that we were spotted by a spy plane, he hugged me tightly and he told me that, son, if anything happened to him, that I would be responsible for looking after the family and to take them back to Kabul. And that's when I actually lost my childhood, in a way that I knew that I was second in command. I knew that I had a responsibility for my family. Miraculously, we survived that attack. And after that attack, we arrived in Pakistan, and we were settled into one of the refugee camps. And within 3 months, I started coughing. And I was coughing to the extent that I was even bringing up blood. I had 80% chance of dying because I had advanced tuberculosis. So much about the resilience of parents in war zones in low-resource countries that I admire. Despite so many adversities, the one thing they know is to keep fighting, and they keep fighting every single day. After 1.5 years, I got better. My father actually would play doctor and patient with me. He bought some syringes from the local pharmacy, and he would allow me to inject boiled water into his arm. I was pretending that I was a doctor. His arms would turn black and blue because I kept missing the vein, but he would let me do that. I wouldn't let my son do that to me, but he was a very kind dad. But then after 2.5 years, we went to Afghanistan. And in '96, the Taliban took over, and again, everything was already destroyed. The economy crumbled even more. Then in '99, when I got to the age of 15, my parents felt that I got to an age where I could be asked to serve in the military. My entire family couldn't come with me to the West, and they sold their house, all their belongings, to get enough money to put it in the hands of an agent to get me out of Afghanistan. Well, I was sat on a plane in Peshawar city, and then I landed in Dubai, and from Dubai then I landed in Heathrow in London.
But when you landed in a safe place like UK, you just had $100 in your pocket. How did you then manage to survive in UK and also to succeed as an NHS doctor?
I was first actually arrested. I was arrested because I didn't have the correct documents. So I was sent to prison. And there was a young offenders institute called Feltham. I was there for 2 weeks. And there was a kind barrister who then fought my corner in the court, and he said that refugees shouldn't be penalized because of the route they take to safety, according to the UN Geneva Convention. The judge agreed, so the charges were dropped, and then I started my asylum claim in the UK, which was a lengthy process that took 2.5 years before I was granted a refugee status. First, I started working in 3 jobs, which was cleaning, sales, and kitchen porter during the day, and at night time I was studying in various colleges. That determination that, now that I found safety, I found the opportunities that I never had, I was like a child in a candy shop. But okay, now I know there is school, there's education, there is this. I have to get it all. And I was really working extremely hard day and night. But at the same time, I was suffering. I was suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder symptoms. I didn't know what it was. When I was walking in the streets of London, whenever I would see a red bus, it would turn into a tank. At night time, I would wake up in the middle of the night because I had nightmares of a sniper taking my head off. So I had to open the window to see for myself that I was actually in London, not in a war zone. I applied to Cambridge University despite so many people, including my tutor, telling me that I was crazy. That, Cambridge is not for refugees. But I actually thought that, if the Russian jets and bombs didn't kill me, applying to Cambridge won't do any harm. Let's do it. So I got into Cambridge. I studied at Cambridge for 3 years. And then I came to Imperial College in London to complete my clinical studies. And I also a scholarship at Harvard University in 2008. And 2009 was when I had a breakdown. And that's when I opened up to my tutor for the first time. And he gave me a big hug and I cried on his shoulders. Then I started therapy from my clinical psychologist. I started that. But during that, before the therapy and during the medical school years and even in Warzone, another method that kept me going was running and exercise.
You talk about how your trauma and your journey of mental health recovery helped others too, because now you had this empathy in your heart towards others. You knew how it felt to be alone. You knew how it felt to suffer from trauma.
I've developed Arian Wellbeing, which is a mental health initiative. We have been supporting people in conflict zones. We have been supporting now medics in the UK, and we're hoping to scale this more throughout the globe. A lot of the times the therapy is randomly used. People call it, oh, I need some therapy. But what sort of therapy and who is providing this therapy is really important. That we vet all our experts. They have to be qualified, and sometimes people use pop psychology where they don't have the right qualifications. So we make sure that they're highly qualified, they are trauma informed.
What is your message to all these children of war?
My message to children of war, or to any child who is going through really traumatic experience, going through really challenging time, is three things actually. One is not to give up on hope, not to give up on the hope of living. It's extremely important. Even if we can't see anything hopeful, any light, just imagine that one day things will be okay. And number two is to continue dreaming. It's very, very easy to forget our dreams, to forget that what we want for our future. And number three would be for me to think about compassion, compassion to give to other people. We don't have to have a lot of money, whether it's serving your parents, it's serving your neighbor, serving somebody who's in need close to you. It could be with your words of kindness. It could be with giving your hand and telling them things are okay. That is giving.
But truly, I must say that from this conversation, I myself have learned a lot. And I think I can safely say this is the most delightful conversation that I had so far.
Thank you so much, Hina. It's a pleasure to speak with you.